just do more of what already works. So I talk to a lot of e-commerce brand owners, operators on a weekly basis. And they come to us because they want to make more money. They want to scale their business, make more revenue, and reach the 8 figures per year in revenue. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Andre, founder of Holo Growth, and we're a growth agency or growth partners for e-commerce brands. And we partner up with them and help them scale as quickly and as profitably as possible. And I talk to a lot of e-commerce brand owners, founders, operators, and they obviously all want to scale. They want to get more sales. And for that, they want to try a lot of different things. They have a lot of different ideas, a lot of different strategies in their mind that could help them get more sales. And when I talk to them for the first time, the first question that I always ask is, where are most of your new customers coming from right now? What is currently working for you? And some of the founders don't even know that, really. Like, it surprises me, but they don't have the numbers and they're not sure. Like, they think that most of the customers are coming in from Google ads, from Meta ads, from organic, from email, from content, from word of mouth, whatever. Like, some of them have an assumption and they just talk about it based on that. But some also have the real numbers. So, and if, for example, they say that their Meta ads work, they spend, let's say, $2,000 per day on the Meta ads, and that's where most of the customers are coming from. And now they come to us and they have a bunch of ideas of what they want to try, what they want to do to increase their sales. They want to try different channels. They want to go into TikTok, Pinterest, Twitter, Google, whatever. Then they want to do live streams on TikTok or on YouTube and do like live selling. Then they want to do more content. They want to do more SEO. They want to increase their conversion rates. They want to increase their retention, do their email marketing. And they've hundreds of ideas and all of those things that they want to do, but they don't have the resources or the knowledge to do that. And that's what they come to us for. But then the first thing that I ask them after that, after I figured out what the number one source of new customers is why don't you just do more of that? And people are usually a little bit confused. They don't really expect that question, and I usually have to explain it. But let's say they spend $2,000 on Meta ads, and I ask them, like, why don't you spend $4,000 per day on the Meta ads? Why don't you spend $10,000 per day? Like, why don't you just do more of what works? And then they usually have to think about it. But usually there's some issue, some problem that is holding them back from scaling. Like, there's some that just say that whenever they try to most of them say whenever they try to increase the return on ad spend goes down. And then we obviously have to go more into the specifics, look more into the data and see whether why it goes down and by how much it goes down, because oftentimes when you spend twice as much, the ads are not as efficient as they were when you were spending less. But at the same time, you have a more absolute return. You still make more money, even though the relative return on the invested capital is lower. The absolute return is higher. So just as an example, if you spend 1,000 and you get 2,000 back, you have a 2-to-1 return in profit. And then if you spend 2,000 and you get 3,500 back, the relative return is lower, but because you don't have the 2-to-1 anymore. But in absolute terms, you've made more because you made $1,500 in the second time and only $1,000 in the first time. So that's the first thing. And then oftentimes there are like a lot of things that need to happen. Like, you can't just double the ad spend. You also have to double the creative output. You have to double the testing. You have to do all of those things to make sure that at double the ad spend, the performance is still there. But that's how you basically have to analyze it and look at how can we just do more of what already works. Because if you suddenly start to do different things and you try completely different platforms, completely different channels, different methods to acquire new customers, the chances that you'll be successful are significantly lower because you need to like figure out how this channel works, what doesn't. You have to do way more testing. Like you have to learn about all the intricacies of that method of customer acquisition. And the chances are way, way higher that it will not work and that it will take weeks, months, maybe even years until you figure out how that new method of customer acquisition, that new channel works. Whereas with a channel that is already working, that is already generating you customers, that is already getting you results, where you already have data, learnings, and everything that you did, it will be way easier to just get that channel to do more and get better results from that one channel compared to just testing a lot of new things. Because also if you suddenly start focusing on something else entirely, the first channel, like your main customer acquisition source, will probably suffer because you will not be able to invest as much time as you are currently doing into that one, and it will not be as successful. So what I want to say to you is, if you have something that works, just try to do more of. Just try to double down on it. Spend more. Do more. Like if content works for you, just like ask yourself, what would it take to do 10 times as much volume? Like, yeah, just do more of what already works rather than testing hundreds of different things, because your resources are limited, your time is limited, your money is limited, and you have to prioritize the things, you have to go after the things that have the highest likelihood of being successful and growing your business. And that is usually what is already working right now, and then just doing more of it. I hope that was valuable, and I hope it helps you grow your business. Bye.